June 22nd, 1986. Mexico City's Azteca Stadium. Exactly 40 years later, the World Cup returns to the same host nation, on the same date. This was where Diego Maradona scored his iconic Hand of God goal, establishing a standard for individual greatness, defining Argentinian football for generations. Now the tournament belongs to Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They have arrived in North America for their final tournament appearances, looking to finalize their legacies in the shadow of that history. But the game has moved past the era of the solo giant. To navigate this final bracket, these legends no longer rely on their own feet alone. They depend on the tactical systems built to sustain them. Argentina's path is blocked by a recurring statistical phenomenon, the champion's curse. Since 2000, defending winners face a brutal pattern of collapse. France 02, Italy 10, Spain 14, Germany 18, all eliminated in the group stage. This stems from stale squad syndrome. Managers lean on the same veterans and predictable passing lanes, making them easy to dismantle. Portugal faces a different pressure. They have arrived with their most talented golden generation in decades, carrying the expectation that this roster is finally deep enough to go all the way. Yet, as the tournament progresses, these two teams are moving in opposite directions. One aging star is flourishing within his system, while the other is struggling to stay afloat as his team's cohesion begins to fray. Argentina's manager, Lionel Scaloni, chose to keep 18 of his title-winning players while rebuilding how they play. He avoided the trap of stagnation by evolving the team's identity around his veteran core. The foundation is a rigid defensive shield. By dominating aerial duels and dictating a slow tempo, Scaloni ensures his goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, is rarely tested, preventing opponents from building any momentum. This rigid structure provides a specific benefit for a 39-year-old Lionel Messi. Because the team controls the space behind him, Messi is free to drop into deeper pockets of the pitch, operating on muscle memory without the physical burden of defensive tracking. The efficiency of this role is reflected in the data. Within this system, Messi has already surpassed Miroslav Klose to become the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history. This tactical discipline creates a unified locker room that is remarkably resilient against the kind of noise that typically derails a campaign. Even as Julian Alvarez faces a public $500 million transfer saga with Atletico Madrid, the team remains unaffected. The external drama fails to penetrate the squad's internal focus. Argentina has built an ecosystem that absorbs pressure for its superstar, rather than forcing him to generate it alone. Portugal's manager, Roberto Martinez, has taken a different route. Despite having a roster filled with world-class attacking depth, his tactical setup has remained rigid and predictable. The result is a disjointed system expecting Cristiano Ronaldo to produce individual moments of magic against defenses specifically designed to crowd him out. This lack of tactical fluidity on the pitch is fueling a psychological breakdown off of it. What should be a supportive environment has turned into a pressurized external ecosystem. Fans are openly criticizing players for not passing enough to Ronaldo, while social media posts from players' families add unnecessary layers of public friction to the squad's dynamic. This atmosphere directly impacts creative engines like Bruno Fernandes. When a world-class playmaker is forced to prioritize one specific target over the best tactical option, the team's overall efficiency drops. Portugal risks squandering its golden generation by clinging to the idea that a single player can still carry a modern team through a knockout bracket. Portugal now enters a knockout stage filled with disciplined, counter-attacking opponents who will test every crack in their team chemistry. Meanwhile, Argentina's transition from a collection of stars to a singular tactical unit has made them the heavy favorites to secure a second consecutive title. The contrast between these two giants suggests that the role of the solitary savior is becoming harder to sustain. In a game defined by high press systems and data-driven defenses, relying on one name is a mounting risk. As even the greatest players reach their physical limits, the difference between an early exit and a trophy often comes down to a manager's ability to build a protective structure. Success in the modern tournament depends on a team's ability to function as a collective. Argentina has found that balance, while Portugal is still searching for it in the shadow of their greatest star.